Here's a question for you. What do you do with a old rusty pan that you found in your cupboard, your basement, or even at a garage sale? Lucky for you, if it's made of cast iron, then there's hope yet. In today's video, I'll be teaching you how to breathe new life into these pots and pans and how to get that ever so satisfying out of the box shiny glossy feel. Let's get into it. For those of you starting out with a pan with any amount of rust on it, we'll need to get rid of the rust before proceeding. I let my pan develop some rust so you can see what it's like. Not gonna lie, this was pretty painful. Begin by soaking your pan in a mixture of 50% water and 50% distilled vinegar for about 30 minutes. As the rust on my pan was mainly at the base, I only needed to ensure it was covered. For those of you with rust along the walls or the outside of the pan, you'll need to place it in a sink or a basin and use a lot more liquid. Dispose of the vinegar solution and pour in some baking powder to neutralize it. Using some steel wool, scrub the heck out of your pan, doing your best to remove as much rust as possible. You can switch to a finer steel wool once you feel that most of the rust has been removed, just to help buffer things out a bit. If you still see any rust, repeat this step until it's relatively rust-free. Dry it off with some paper towels, then place it over high heat to dry off the excess moisture. You want your pan to be as dry as possible. If you still see a bit of rust over here, pour in a little bit of oil and wipe it down with a paper towel. The remaining rust should come off with relative ease. Finally, take a fresh paper towel and wipe down the entire pan, ensuring that the pan is more or less spotless. Don't worry, I know that some of you immediately asked the question, which oil should we use? Many videos will tell you that any oil will work, and well, that's technically not wrong. However,
your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Not all oils are made optimal. What we want is a relatively neutral oil with a smoking point on the higher side. This allows for the oil to properly polymerize into a layer of seasoning when baked, while ensuring that your food doesn't taste of flavors that you don't want. This makes oils such as canola, vegetable or sunflower such good choices. My personal favorite is grapeseed oil. Oils such as olive oil, sesame oil and coconut oil are probably the last thing you'd call flavor neutral, so avoid those. As for the ever so popular flaxseed oil, contrary to what many guides say, I personally wouldn't recommend it either. While it does leave a nice shiny finish, it's not the most practical to use. It's not flavor neutral, has one of the lowest smoking points of edible oils on the market, is really pricey, can be hard to find, and leaves a brittle seasoning that is prone to flaking. I mean, even cast iron manufacturers say that it isn't optimal. Why spend more on something that's less effective? Now on to the final phase, which is seasoning. Generously hit your pan with salt and pepper, give it a quick taste, and you're done. Just kidding. Pour in some of your oil and using a clean paper towel, lather up your pan, ensuring that all of the cast iron is covered. If it has an enamel outer finish just like mine, then you can skip those areas. Once that's done, using another paper towel, wipe off any excess oil, leaving behind a very thin coat. Here, thinner is better. Place it on a rack in the oven and heat it past the smoking point of your chosen oil. Yes, your house will smell of oil, but you gotta do what you got to do. Bake it out for about an hour, then let it cool. You can leave it here, but I recommend reapplying another layer of oil and repeating the process 1 or 2 more times. Once that's done, you'll be left with a nice shiny cast iron pan ready for your next dish. And there you have it. How to season and breathe new life into a Dutch oven. Now the beauty of cast iron cookware is that they can last for generations if well taken care of. And as for those that weren't well taken care of, well, as you've just witnessed, they can be salvaged unlike their non-stick counterparts. Of course, cast iron has other benefits such as being oven safe, being non-stick, being extremely good at heat retention and distribution, and it works on both induction and regular stovetops. If you aren't already using one, then I highly recommend investing in a piece because it's worth it. But yeah, that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, like if you liked the video, share it with all your friends and family, and if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing because it really helps the channel. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you're currently using a piece of cast iron cookware, and if not, why not? But for now, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next video.